welcome to Where the Road Rises, Law, Legacy and Lessons. With me, your host, Eileen Curlin-Walsh. We have had a fairly tumultuous stock market recently. We've also seen rising inflation and hair-raising gas prices. And we have even been hearing murmurs of recession. So here today to address your concerns about those things is Mike Moylan, Senior Partner at Advanced Planning Advisors in Mokina. Mike has 30 years of planning under his belt with those of us in or near retirement, helping us realize our goals and dreams. Mike has hosted Smart Money Talk for AM 560 The Answer. He conducts financial seminars and workshops for clients and speaks at national events for advisors. A dyed-in-the-wool Southsider, Mike attended Brother Rice and St. Xavier and lives in Tinley Park with his wife, Flavia. Welcome, Mike. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So why didn't you start with telling us your story,
Boy,
Mike?
when you say 30 years, I know I see it in print, but when you say 30 years, I can't believe I'm that old. Yeah.
Well, you've been doing it that long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, my story. As you mentioned, born and raised on the South Side, Brother Rice High School, St. Xavier College. We migrated from the Beverly area to Tinley Park. Family raised my family out there, and they taught my brother and his wife and 3 kids into coming out. They live 2 blocks away. My sister, her husband, 5 kids, they live 2 blocks in the other direction from us. We're very family oriented, so we enjoy that. Cousins, nieces, and nephews all get together. Started out in the investment business, I said, over 30 years ago, and we evolved in that business quite a bit, from investment banking, to more financial planning, which was really the area I liked. I liked that comprehensive planning. And now, as advanced planning advisors, we've evolved more into what you would say a focus and an emphasis on working with people in or near retirement.
Why don't we jump right in, Mike, to the current environment? What are your clients' concerns and how are you addressing them?
Sure, a good place to start. I mean, the good news is our clients, because we do work with them, there's a little less concern. But what we do find is people that come to us, that have been referred to us or we're meeting for the first time, we're finding a lot of concern. Well, let's talk about this year. I mean, where we're at, we've had quite the year. We've had the start to this year has been interesting to say the least. We've had multi-asset classes going down. We've had stocks down, bonds down. We've had gold down, right? And we have crypto, Bitcoin, if you're...
Yes.
So all these things that were maybe supposed to be inflation hedges and, market hedges have not quite worked out. So when you see this happening, and it's been a slow, long grind, when you have these 6 months of going down and hearing bad news, it wears on people. It starts to get to you. People are concerned about inflation. Let's face it, you go to the pump, you see the gas price, you go to the store. If you're buying things, you're doing things, you see it, you're feeling it in the pocketbook. And there's only one way to really combat inflation, right? And that's the Fed raising rates. Well, the concern is if they're raising rates, what's that going to do to the economy? Is that going to kind of crash the economy? Do we go into a recession? And really, what does that mean by going into a recession? So they're concerned about that. They're concerned about their portfolios. Do they have too much risk? Do they need to make changes in their portfolio? So they start second guessing maybe their original investment decisions. A big concern right now also is taking money out of the market. If you're withdrawing money when your portfolio is down, that's a wealth destruction plan. So maybe people are putting off that large purchase. They're saying, well, the investments are down now. Do I take money out of the market now to buy that car, that summer home, or what have you?
And do you feel confident that it's all not going to hell in a handbasket?
Yeah.
Do you feel that we're going to come out of this and we're going to be just fine?
Yeah. This is not the end of the market cycle as we know it. This is not it. We have not gotten this far, and that's it. It's all over. We don't go anywhere from here. Yes, we'll go into. I think my outlook is, inflation right now, we feel it's peaked or near a peak. Okay, we feel that that's going to be somewhat under control as we move forward. They're taking steps, as you see. They're raising the rates. We hope we don't run into a recession as a result of it. One way you have to look at this type of market is also stocks are on sale right now. When you see a market like this, the stock market's the one thing that people don't like to buy. They're afraid to buy when it's on sale. If the market was great at the beginning of the year, right? The market's at their highs, people are jumping in, putting all kinds of money in the market 6, 7, 8 months ago, and it was good. Then you have to take a look at your portfolio now and say, what do I do now? Do I want to be adding to my portfolio right now? Because the worst thing, one of the mistakes, and I know we want to talk about mistakes people make, is looking to say, hey, I've rode this down. I've taken so much risk in my portfolio up to this point. I've kind of been in the market with that risk going down. I want to make sure I have that same risk allocation moving up so I can recover, and you can recapture when the market does recover.
Right. And has the market always recovered? Is that a guarantee, Mike?
Well, as you said, there's no guarantees in life, but if I have to look at the history, the market has always recovered and hit new highs. So as I said, and I think maybe I'm optimistic in this, is that the market will continue to do what it's always done. We'll see corrections, we'll see bear markets, we'll see bull markets. It's never fun when you're going through it. Right now we're going through it. Yes. And every time we go through it, and whether it be 1987 crash, whether it be the dot-com crash, the housing bubble crash, 2009. If we go through the fiscal cliff, just 2 years ago with COVID, every single time people would say, this time it's different. This time it's the new normal. And you know what? It's not different. We've gone through wars, recessions, depressions. We've come out on the other side just fine. It's just tough kind of going through it while you're going through it.
Yeah, that is comforting. It's also a little depressing to think of what we have been through this last 30, 40 years, but comforting to know that we always come out of it. So you are an independent licensed fiduciary, Mike. What exactly does that mean?
Sure. You hear that word floated around a lot, fiduciary. What does that really mean? And as a fiduciary, we work in the very best interest of our clients at all time. And sometimes when we say that, people say, what do you mean? Isn't everybody supposed to do that? And believe it or not, no. I mean, it doesn't mean they could lie and cheat and steal, but as a fiduciary, I have to work in the best interest of the client. I have to put their needs ahead of mine. I have to look out for think of it this way. I'm sitting on their side of the table. So as an independent, I don't represent the insurance company, the investment company, the bank, the brokerage. I represent the client. So it's, if you could almost visualize the client and I sitting on the same side of the table against the investment world and the financial world. So it's a much better relationship to have. So if you are working with someone, make sure they are a fiduciary, make sure they're looking out for your best interest, not theirs.
Yeah, that sounds great. Mike, you talked earlier about some of the mistakes that people make with investing. Are there other typical mistakes we tend to fall under?
I think that's a real important thing to talk about, is the mistakes that I see, kind of on a regular basis. And one of the biggest things, and we talk about this, is not having a plan. Is not having a plan going, as we work with people who are in or near retirement, not having that plan going into retirement, not having that plan while you're in retirement, not having a comprehensive plan. And what we find is some people do I hope I'm saving enough money. Oh, I'm hoping I won't lose a lot of money in the market. I'm hoping I can retire. I hope I could spend money. I hope I won't run out of money. Well, if hope's the major part of your plan, you're in trouble, right? You want to have a comprehensive plan to see that. Mm-hmm. Some other things, mistakes I see. We all know a big mistake you can make in retirement is spending too much money and running out of money, right? Nobody wants to do that. But there's also another big mistake I see people make, and it's spending too little money. Because let's face it, most people, they've worked their whole life, 30, 35, 40 years. They've worked, they've got a paycheck, they've made money, they saved money. Now they're reaching that point of retirement where the paycheck's gone. They're not making money. They're not saving money. Now they have to take their Social Security. Maybe they're now dipping into their savings. They're digging into their portfolio to supplement their income. That becomes, there's a little anxiety that goes with that.
Yes.
Because I don't have that money, so how much can I spend? A big part of what we do is a comprehensive plan, sitting down with that client so they can see where are they at now, where do we want to be, what does retirement look like? When you retire, what's it going to look like with taking Social Security, maybe a pension, withdrawing assets, understanding the income you have to work with in a very conservative model, in black and white, not 25 pages of nonsense that they can't understand. We want them to understand that roadmap. We call it our retirement compass. So they can see that retirement compass and say, yes, this is where we're at. Yes, we can retire. Yes, we can live off of this amount of money and do all the things that we want to do. And that gives them that comfort and confidence going into retirement.
That's interesting. I have seen, as well as people not having enough or spending too much, but the fear because they are no longer earning out in the marketplace or in the workplace, spending too little. And that doesn't give you the kind of peace of mind you want in retirement either.
No, and what's the default position is to, I'm going to keep everything close to my vest. I don't know if I could spend that. And I've had, I love when I could sit down with a client and show them, no, go out and get that, stop driving that 20-year-old car that's breaking down. You've worked too hard, you can afford it. Get that TV or take that vacation. And when you see them start doing these things and say, oh, and they come and they thank you. Thanks for pushing me. Thanks for letting me know we can do that. And I joke and they say, if you don't do it, your sons, your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, whoever the beneficiaries are, I go, they will.
Yeah. It's an awesome responsibility you have, Mike, because I notice my estate planning clients often look to their financial planner with so much respect and trust that it's a tremendous responsibility that you have with their retirement, with their funds, and making sure that they have the plan in place. Now, you also help with Social Security choices, is that right, Matt?
Yes, that's obviously a very big part of retirement planning, is understanding Social Security. And because of our time today and trying to go through the details, it'd be hard to give detail, but what you want to be able to do is understand there's several ways that you can take Social Security. There's several advantages for taking it early. There could be several advantages or disadvantages for waiting and taking it later. If you're married, the best way of taking it, what I recommend you do is make sure you are working with someone that understands Social Security, understands how, not just saying, oh, wait till you're 70, you'll make more money. It's not that easy. Oh, just take it early, because
it might not be there.
Right. It's not that easy. So I joke, I have a little saying, and my clients have heard it a dozen times. Do not listen to your work buddy Wally, your neighbor Nick, or your brother-in-law Bob on telling you what you need to do for your Social Security. That becomes part of the comprehensive plan, sitting down, meeting with your advisor, and having them really understand your full picture. How does Social Security plan? What is the best for you and your family? And that's what you make sure you're working with someone who can do that for you.
Right. Is there, and this sort of leads a little from what you just said, Mike, is there a typical investment strategy, or is it truly unique to everyone's own plans and goals and dreams and what they have put together up to the point they meet with you?
I think that's one of the biggest things that we do. I think the thing that maybe separates us a little bit from some other people, and I don't ever say anything bad about it, because there's a lot of good advisors. I meet them, I train with them and talk to them. There's a lot of good guys out there. But what we do is we make sure we sit down and get to know the client. And we have a process of sitting down, going through an intake form, where we're really getting to know, I always say the numbers are the numbers. We want to know how much and income and assets, but we also want to know, and we go through your estate plan and understanding what they have and what they don't have, their investment account, their insurance accounts, their retirement account. We have a tax practice as well. We not only do tax preparation, but we do tax planning. understand what legacy means to you and what. So we go through, and I'm hitting right on your core topics there, and that's why my clients that work with you, they love you. They love what you do and what you bring to the table, and that's part of our team. You know, working with a team is so important to have. No one can be a jack of all trades and be good. You can't be an expert in all fields. So that's where we work with Eileen and our estate planning, our wills, our trust and powers of attorney, and how important that is to have that piece put together, have that formalized, have your wishes, you know, formalized, what you want, how you want it, and having that part, have your investment part together, have your retirement, your insurance, your tax planning, and you check off those boxes, and then you have peace of mind.
Absolutely. Mike, I'm quick to tell my clients when I recommend, you know, working with the dream team, your estate planning attorney, your financial advisor, your CPA, they could all be working in your best interest, but be looking through different lenses. You want them not just all working in your best interest, but all looking out through your very specific lens to make sure that everything blends beautifully together. And that makes for a very happy client. And talk about that peace of mind that we're all searching for when people visit professionals like me and you. That's where I feel that we can really give them that tons of value and really feel so well taken care of and have no concerns or worries about their future as they go into those later decades.
And that is so important, because it's so much more than just someone coming in and saying, hey, I have $500,000, what should I do? And there's, well, here, invest it here. No, there's so much more to that. Sometimes someone may have a question or a concern on one area, but I need to know how it fits in the whole picture, just as you do. How does that fit in the whole picture? And having that team, right, the attorneys, the CPAs, the people that can round out that entire plan. Your portfolio manager, your analyst, all of us work together to make that work for that client. And I enjoy doing it. That's the thing I enjoy doing most, and it works so much better for the client's understanding of where they're at. So when we do go through times like this, we know we're going to have corrections. They could feel more comfortable as they go through this, because they know, no, we're properly allocated. We have a very well-balanced, allocated, diversified plan. We're not making knee-jerk reactions, and that brings me back to mistakes I also see people making emotional decisions, making knee-jerk reactions, you know, kind of trying to time the market. Oh, you know what, things are really bad right now. One of the worst things you can do right now is someone may say, I'm concerned about the market, I've lost some money now. I'm thinking I'm just moving out. I'm going to move that all to like safety right now. I don't want to lose any more. I want to move it to all safe guarantee. And I said, if you do that, you've just locked in your loss. You've taken all the risk on the way down, as I said, but now you've not kept yourself in that position for recovery. So that's a huge mistake we see people make. So we want to make sure that when they're working with someone, they have that peace of mind in the plan. Sure, you make little tweaks to the plan, but not knee-jerk reactions.
So Mike, that leads me to a question I'm always curious about when I'm speaking with a financial expert, and that is wealth mindset. So I grew up with just in a poor farming background where it was about making ends meet, certainly not about accumulating wealth, and coming from a country where we had a national pension. So there was not the same focus even on saving for retirement. You know, fast forward these decades, and I meet with wealthy clients all the time, and I notice the difference in mindset. I'm fascinated by that it's not just the tools to become wealthy. I'm sure you must find that it's harder, or maybe you just see a skewed audience, but the mindset towards wealth, the accumulation of wealth, the entitlement to wealth is something I'm fascinated by. And I wonder, do you sometimes find that a barrier to someone accumulating wealth and intergenerational wealth because they've never been taught it? They've only had a negative money blueprint.
Well, right. There's different people have gotten their money from many different sources. Some have inherited. Now, I'm blue collar, South Side. You know, most of the people we are dealing with are more self-made. This isn't generational money being passed on down. So, but some of the values that they learn, and there's a saying, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And that happens, and especially when it comes to the financial world is very complex, and not knowing what you don't know can lead you to either making no decision, taking no risk, maybe understanding the value of having an advisor. Some people, and one of the biggest mistakes I've seen people make, and if I could use this, it kind of goes into the topic, is sometimes thinking, oh, I don't need anyone else. I could do this on my own. One of the greatest mistakes we've seen is someone that came to us from the western suburbs, and you'll appreciate this estate planning mistake. They had the daughter, that was a fairly wealthy family, and the husband had passed, the mother was still alive, aging, had health issues. The daughter thought it would be great to simplify the estate and put her name on the house that they've owned for decades. And the house was worth millions of dollars at this point, and put herself on all the investments because she didn't want her brother coming along, so she thought she was doing the smart thing by, I'm gonna circumvent any estate planning attorney, I'm just gonna put my name on everything. Well, you can imagine what a tax mess that was for them. It was millions of dollars. So sometimes people understanding your limitations are great. Not understanding them, maybe having some preconceived notions, we try to work through that, and that's where we work through working through educating and taking them through the process. And that's what we tell people. One of the advantages of working with us, how I think another way we separate ourselves, we don't ask people to work with us until we take them through the process. Complimentary, there's no cost, there's no obligation. We will do a complete financial review with those individuals, complete comprehensive review, and then we give them our advice, we give them our recommendations, and we give it to them in writing, we explain it to them, we give it to them, we take it home and say, if you find value in that, you can call us. And that practice has worked out very well for us. Yeah. And that allows them, with a little more comfort, a little more, their defenses down a little bit, to take in what we're trying to explain to them, and through properly going through the process, educating them, we tend to have very good clients that are on the same page.
And you've built a very successful practice, so you're certainly separating yourself, Mike, and congratulations on that. What is the most rewarding part of what you do?
The most rewarding part is when you help put a plan together for your clients, and then you help them implement, guide them along that plan, and see it all come together. Help them get to the point where not only they retire, because we talked about this, and it may sound cliche in the business sometimes, but you don't want to just retire from something, you want to retire to something. So it's great when we see people that we've helped get to the point where they can retire, but then we also get them to the point where now they're doing things, they're seeing things, they're giving, maybe they have a charitable giving. That they're acquiring things for their legacy, whether it's that second home or whatever they want to do. That's when you see it all come together. And when you've been with somebody for a while, when you have a client and you watch them struggle. You've kind of watched them struggle, watch them save, watch them hit those little milestones, and then they get to the point where their retirement, they did it, they made it, and now they have a very successful, happy lifestyle in retirement. That's great. I love it.
Satisfaction, guaranteed. That's one thing that's guaranteed. Now, you mentioned charitable work, and you yourself are very involved with charities, Make-A-Wish, the Loyola Pediatric Oncology, Toys for Tots, and more. How did you get involved, and how does that work make you feel?
Sure. It's very personal to us. My son, who is now 19 years old, our youngest son, Joe, was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 12 years old. So we went through that process, and we went through it, and knock on wood, he's in remission. It was a long 4-year treatment and ups and downs, but watching not only him, but other kids that were going through the same thing, it's a whole different world that you become part of, and watching some of those kids not make it, So my wife has gotten very involved. Cal's Angels. It's the #1 grant giver for all cancer research. She's very involved in that. We're very involved in Make-A-Wish, and my son speaks for them. You know, he's amazing when he gets up there, and just from the heart, you hear it from him. So that's our way of giving back. We're very fortunate to have good doctors at Loyola that took care of our son, so we want to be able to give back.
Oh, I love that. So you've had this long life, your successful practice, that journey with your son, you're giving back. You've still got lots of life to live, but at your stance now, what's it all about? Have you figured it out?
You know what, can I say figure it all out? Nah, who knows if we ever figure it out, right? Get it all figured out. But the older you get, the more you get closer, right? You get closer finding out what's really important. And having, raised, our son right now, our youngest is going to be a sophomore in college at ISU. So 2 sons are at Illinois State, and our oldest daughter, married, living in Mokina, and she has a daughter of her own. So we're grandparents. Just realizing, wow, just what a transition from, it just seemed like not too long ago I was ratting around with my friends, and then we're getting married, then we're having kids, our kids are getting married, our kids are having kids. It's a wonderful part of life right now, and this is where you see legacy becoming more and more important. And we talk about not just the money you pass down, but also hopefully some of the wisdom.
Oh, I love that. And when we spoke recently, you talked about building a lake home.
Yes.
A dream, and to be able to bring your children, your grandchildren, their friends, the cousins, your family. I mean, that has to be just like a huge life moment to be able to achieve a dream like that.
It really, I'll tell you, it's awesome. Again, we're very close with our family, so it's great when I have my brother and sisters and their kids, and that's why I built that home. I really built it, yes, for our family, but also for our extended, our brothers, sisters, cousins, nieces, nephews. And I watch other people on the lake, and I see guys who are in their 80s that have been there for 30 years, and I'm like, that's what I want. I want to be, you've heard that, what's it called, the rocking chair theory, where you put yourself in a rocking chair, you're 85 years old. What do you want your life to look like? And I look at some of those guys, and I look at what the family memories and the legacy they have there. I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
Oh, that's just beautiful. What a great way to end. And congratulations on your life, your practice, your family, and much more to come. Mike, do you have any words of wisdom for us to leave us by? A quote, a poem?
A quote, oh boy. I do have a funny, only because I said it the other day. With everything that's going on right now, don't get down, but here's the quote. It's an old quote. It goes something like this: if you're getting your financial and investment and retirement news from the newspaper, you soon will be delivering the newspaper.
I like that. I like that. So viewers, make sure you have a good financial advisor and planner. Have a good team to take care of you and your money and your documents. I think that's everything. Why don't you tell our viewers how to get a hold of you if they are interested in learning more?
Sure. You can reach me at Mike, that's M-I-K-E, at apadvisors.net. Or you can call our office in Mokina at 708-326-1100.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for being our guest. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Stay with us. I have some interesting guests coming up in the next couple of months to share their wisdom and knowledge and insight with you. So thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye.